If you want more content from We Studios, check us out at WePodcast.com. That's WeePodcast.com, where you can find our Simpsons podcast, worst episode ever, our commentary series, Sync Points, other 90s Percentile episodes, our YouTube, our newsletter.
Everything we do is there. And if you want to support everything we do, all you got to do is go to patreon.com/WeStudios to contribute to our Patreon, or go to amazon.wepodcast.com, which will take you right to Amazon, and anything you shop will help support the show.
Thanks, guys.
Enjoy.
60 minutes are on the clock, and straight out of We Studios, this is 90s Percentile. My name is Jack.
My name is Dan, and we're talking everything 90s, and maybe also everything before and after.
That's right. Talking 90s with us today is the 7 people in our Periscope feed.
That's true. Yeah, we are live Periscoping this. Not when you're listening to it, unless you're watching it on the Periscope.
You lost me already.
All right. So if you're listening to this as a podcast, it was live at one point. Okay. So we have Periscope listeners.
I mean, they're all live at one point.
Well, a couple of them were dead on arrival, if you know what I mean.
And by a couple, you mean most.
Oh, boy, oh, boy.
That Nick Noble one, that was good, though, right? Huh?
Yeah, that was a pretty good.
That was a show?
That was a good one. Highly rated, highly downloaded episode. But yeah, it's just Jack and I today doing one of our typical wacky episodes where it's just the two of us. We can make it if we try.
I was drinking coffee.
And yeah, we got some Periscope listeners who are going to be chiming in with their comments. We'll read off the good ones. If they're bad, we're just going to ignore them.
And if they're porn bots, we'll talk to you later.
Oh, yes. But since we don't have a guest, Jack, that means there's no guest to choose the first topic.
Yeah, that
It
makes
means,
sense.
in fact, that we are just going to go right into the random topic generator.
Oh, boy. Okay.
And that is where listeners of this show have submitted topics to 90spercentile.com, WePodcast.com. Those both go to the same place. You can go there to submit your topics. So let's do it.
Yeah, and assuming, just in case we may get a Daniel from Seoul topic, we've actually been in touch with Daniel from Seoul. Really cool guy.
Yeah.
Teacher in Korea. We won't say anything else because he probably doesn't want too much public information out there.
Nope.
But he's a really cool guy, and we are going to one day do an episode focusing on many of his dozens of topics that he submitted.
Yes, as threatened a few weeks ago, we're going to get Matt Stein on, and we're going to do a lightning round of just Daniel from Seoul topics.
But not today.
So
but
tuned.
They might show up. 1 or 2 or 6 might show up.
Some may show up. So let's see what our first topic is from the random topic generator. It comes from Nick W. So thank you, Nick.
Thank you, Nick. I'm assuming he's one of the Waltons, one of the richest family in America.
I assume so. And the topic is a very broad one, and connected to his name, it's NickToons.
Oh, I see.
Now, those are cartoons from Nickelodeon. Hence the name, the portmanteau, NickToons.
Is it any original cartoon from Nickelodeon, or is it like a specific Disney afternoon kind of thing?
No, that would be any cartoon from Nickelodeon. So the Nicktoons started, I want to say it was 1991, with the 3 inaugural shows. Jack, do you remember what cartoons were the 3 inaugural Nicktoons?
Doug.
That's 1.
Ren and Stimpy.
That's 2. Hit me with that 3rd one. Longest running of all of them.
Rugrats?
Rugrats was 3, my friend.
Really? That's 3
you nailed
guesses.
it. 3 for 3. Later joined by, I think, Rocko's Modern Life was the 4th one.
I love Rocko's Modern Life.
Love Rocko's Modern Life.
See, SpongeBob is one of those big cultural things that for some reason I just missed. I want to say I was too old for it, but I was also too old for Power Rangers, and I love Power Rangers.
We weren't too old for Power Rangers. I was a big Power Ranger fan.
I could tell because there was like 3 4th graders in my class, myself included, that like Power Rangers, and then everybody else were 2nd and 3rd graders.
Yeah.
But I always thought SpongeBob was a big ripoff of Rocko's Modern Life.
It kind of is, and it's weird that it's so much more popular than Rocko was. It's Steven...
And I don't not like SpongeBob. I don't want to give any...
no, I like SpongeBob. I like Rocko's Modern Life a hell of a lot more.
Yeah.
But SpongeBob, it's Steven Hillenburg, I think is his name. Hillenbrand, maybe?
We could
He's
look
the
all this
creator.
up.
He was a writer on Rocko's Modern Life. So it was not even... it's not strange that they're very connected.
It was like a Matthew Weiner, Sopranos type of relationship.
Kind of, yeah, a little something like that. I think that's the first time anyone has compared SpongeBob to Mad Men.
You think it's the first time?
I don't know. It could be. But Rocko's Modern Life, great show. Our Real Monsters, another show that was pretty good at the time.
I liked it. Who was your favorite monster?
Ickis.
Mine was Crumb.
You like Crumb?
The fat thing.
He holds his eyeballs. You look a little like Crumb.
Fat and hairy.
You're crummy. That's what I'm saying. And what else we had? Angry Beavers. That was one of the later ones.
That
was a good show.
I had
Angry
a huge
Beavers.
argument with this girl online.
This sounds important.
I was convinced the name of the show was Two Angry Beavers, and she was saying it was either Angry Beavers or The Angry Beavers. And
I think it was The Angry Beavers.
I was convinced it was Two Angry Beavers, and I guess I was thinking of Two Real Dogs
or Two Stupid Dogs.
Two Stupid Dogs.
Yeah, that was at a Cartoon Network show, which was also great.
I turned out to be wrong, but I would have bet my life it was Two Angry Beavers. Beavers.
Yeah.
I like that show. I like
Yeah,
Two
that
Angry
was a solid
Beavers.
show. I'm trying to think. There's definitely one I'm forgetting.
Courage, I consider that was Cartoon Network. That was I always
Courage,
consider
yeah.
that more. I think we were talking about
We were
this
talking
with
about this a few
Rebecca
weeks
couple
back,
weeks ago.
yeah.
That to me, that's a new cartoon, even though it just celebrated its 20th anniversary.
Yeah, I actually never watched Courage the Cowardly Dog.
I liked it.
But
So these cartoons, obviously, I know them well. Hey Arnold. I watched tons of them. I watched a lot of Rugrats. I like them, but I never loved them. I almost felt like watching them because they were on.
really?
I mean, Ren and Stimpy, Rocco, maybe are exceptions to the rule.
Hey Arnold, that was the one I was trying to think of.
But like Hey Arnold, which I already said.
Yeah.
And
I didn't even hear you.
and,
I'm not listening to you, Jack.
the Beavers one, like I liked them when I was watching them, but I don't know. I felt like I wasn't seeking them out. I was just like, well, this is on.
Really?
It's Saturday, 3 p.m. I got nothing better to do. I'm just a dumb 12-year-old with no friends.
The first batch of Nicktoons I definitely sought out. Like Doug, I watched constantly.
I remember
Doug and Rugrats. Doug was on at 7. Rugrats was on at 7:30
they were prime
most
time.
nights.
Ish.
Well, this was like every day, after they had been on for a while.
Cat Dog, I never got into. Again,
Cat
I
Dog
watched
I
it
liked.
and I would be like, yeah, this is fine, but I don't know. I had no
Cat Dog
attachment.
was on when we were in high school,
I
so
don't
that's kind of why.
typically like, and I think I've gotten better with this with age. I don't typically like ugly animation. Mm-hmm. I'm always turned off by something if it doesn't look very
Well,
nice.
what would define ugly animation? Like, what's an example?
Well, like Cat Dog, I guess, sort of.
Well, Cat Dog looked okay, but it was a disgusting creature that should never exist because it had no butts. It was just two faces melded together.
Home movies, I remember at the time, but that's Squiggle Vision. That's a little different.
Right, and they got rid of that after the first
there's
season.
a really good example, and it's escaping my mind. But basically, we're just, I don't know, ugly. Ugly is the perfect word for it. I don't
Well,
know.
like Our Real Monsters, that's probably
like
an ugly
Family
show.
Guy to me.
That's
a
ugly?
very clean cut. No, that's like
Oh.
a very clean image. Archer is beautiful. Bob's Burgers to me is ugly. It's harder.
Really?
It's harder for me to get into the character. Well, Bob's
This
Burgers.
might just be you, Jack.
It's
'cause
grown on me.
Bob's Burgers is a good-looking show.
Yeah, it's something about the character models. I don't know.
I could see, like Our Real Monsters. They lived in the sewers and they lived in the
that's
dump.
different 'cause
That's
they're
ugly.
monsters.
Yeah, I hear you. I don't know. I mean, all of these shows could be topics in their own right, and I'm sure that they are.
Yeah.
Which of the ones that we've mentioned here, which one is your favorites? And I have a cheat sheet if you want to look at what all of the Nicktoons were from the 90s.
Again, like I watched so much Rugrats, and I didn't like it. I would just watch it.
I
And
liked Rugrats.
I don't know. For some reason, it gave me existential angst. I'm just like I was a baby once.
It's true.
I never watched the Thornberries. I don't know what Rocket Power is.
No, I never watched any of those.
I guess Ren and Stimpy's obviously the go-to, and then Rocco's Modern Life. I really did like.
I think
Our Real
Rocco's
Monsters.
is the best.
But again, most of these shows, even Our Real Monsters, which I liked, it was background. I wouldn't consider myself an Our Real Monsters fan. I liked every episode I watched. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Nickelodeon was always to me like a secondary subpar animation.
Really? Nickelodeon was subpar animation.
And I don't even mean animation in terms of.
Are you talking
the
like
art of
compared to The
animation.
Simpsons and things like that?
I guess,
Like
yeah.
adult animated
or even
shows?
Disney.
Interesting.
I always consider it like second tier Jack Cannon
See,
watching.
That's so interesting because I would say that Disney Afternoon to me was like the second tier. Like I watched Darkwing Duck and I watched DuckTales, but like
I guess that's what I mean by ugly animation, non-Disney, like non-clean cut.
yeah. Well, these were the first shows that Disney was putting out, or that Nickelodeon was putting out rather. So I guess they had to kind of get better at animation. Like if you watch Doug now, it doesn't look as good as you remember it, or at least I remember
Oh, really? So Doug, I actually remember the day I found out about it. It was 4th of July and it was on, and there was like some family friend kid there that I didn't know. And
Sure.
and I was like, "What's this? You don't know Doug? This is Doug." And the way he said it, it was like Doug had been around forever. But now that I do the math, I think it must have literally had just come out.
Yeah. Well, it was a big deal. I remember, August 11th, 1991 is when Doug, Rugrats, and Ren and Stimpy all premiered. That was a huge, huge deal at the time because Nickelodeon was just
What was on Nick before that?
a lot of reruns.
How old was Nick?
Nickelodeon originally was Pinwheel, was a channel called Pinwheel, and there was a show called Pinwheel.
Oh, I know Pinwheels very well. I own an old Mac.
Yeah. Oh boy, I see what you've done. I wasn't paying attention. Nickelodeon actually started in 1979, which is kind of much older than I thought it was.
That's
I thought it was
older
an
than
80s
us.
thing. Much older than us.
We're Nick Juniors.
We're young, hip, cool
Young
cats.
bucks.
Young buckaroonies.
This SpongeBob is too old.
But I think Nickelodeon used to just have older programming. Like they had a lot of like Canadian or other imports. Like you can't do that on television is why I said Canadian. That was, I don't know where that came from originally from Canada, but that ended up defining all of Nickelodeon because the whole sliming thing came from you can't do that on television.
What do you mean define it? Besides the slime, how does that define Nickelodeon? Like, what's the Canadian sensibility you're talking about here?
Oh, well, I think that just that show in general, because that sliming thing became Nickelodeon. Slime is like so ingrained with Nickelodeon in my mind.
Like gross
No,
stuff.
like physically sliming people.
Oh, but that's like one thing they do. That's
like their brand identity is like Nick, the place where like grown-ups get slimed.
Yeah.
And you can watch cool cartoons where people fart. Ren and Stimpy being the
so when did these shows premiere? Like 93, 94?
91.
Really? They're that old?
Yeah, much earlier than that.
See, to me, I always remember Doug being like, and I was a little kid, but at the time I was already like, I'm not little anymore. And to me, Doug was always like new wave TV. That's crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I like Doug is a defining show for me
like
as a youngster.
That's what I'm saying. There's certain shows where they were just always there.
Yeah.
And this is one of those where I remember it suddenly being New Kid on the Block. And now that's why I'm surprised I was only 6 or 7 when it happened.
Yeah, I mean, I think Doug was...
Maybe I did hear about it later.
I was... Maybe you did. I mean, I was excited when Doug was coming out when I was a kid because I didn't know what a Nicktoon was. You know, I didn't know anything about television, but it was just exciting.
What do you mean like, ooh, this channel I like live action, they're tipping
They got
their toe
new shows coming out.
Okay.
And it was just like exciting, like original cartoons that you can't see anywhere else. It's Nickelodeon making their own shows.
It sounds like to me you already had some kind of brand identity. Like you were
I guess
aware of brands. To me, TV was always... I was just a channel surfer. Like we had basic cable, and I was always just like, all right. I watched. I was raised by TV. I watched like 9 hours a day.
Right.
And it was literally there was no TV viewing. There was no digital. You didn't know what was on.
Electronic programming guide.
Yeah, you didn't know what was on when you turned it on.
Yeah.
I would just take my remote and I would just flip through the channels, and I would settle on something for an hour, a half hour, whatever, and then I'd move on.
So you know what? I didn't do that.
And Nickelodeon was channel 6 in New York
at
the time. So it was one of the very first ones I'd hit. So I would hit like a Rugrats, and I would be like, good enough.
See, I would have networks that I would know, like go to, look at this network, then look at this one, and I had like a rotation that I would go through.
I probably did that a little bit later, but even when I was doing that, I was just bored easily. I would always just rotate through the channels.
Interesting.
To this day, I mean, I guess if I still had TV. Once in a blue moon, I still watch my live TV. I have rabbit ears, and I have like 4 channels. Yeah, and I'll just like the act of going through the act of surfing is why I like the act of channel surfing is actually why is more my pastime than watching something.
Yeah. Jack, I have a question for you.
Yes.
So they're still making Nicktoons today. Now, I have absolutely no idea what the hell's on Nickelodeon
Should we play,
now.
Is it a Nicktoon or did Dan just make it up?
That's exactly what I was going to suggest. So let's do that.
Okay.
All right, Jack. So here you go.
And if you guys want to play along too in the comments, give me a show and I'll guess whether it's made up or a new Nicktoon.
All right, guys. So here's a show for you, Jack. I want you to tell me if this is a real show and also what you think it's about.
Do we have a Paul Schaefer keyboard riff to open this new segment on 90s Percentile? Is it a Nicktoon show?
Or not?
Or did Dan make it up?
All right, so here we go. Here's your first one. It is called Bunsen is a Beast. Is that a real show, or did I make that up? And if so, what do you think it's about?
Not to poo-poo your imagination or your creative skills. I've played Quip It and other games with you. You're a very clever guy. I don't know in what way your brain neurons would come up with Bunsen is a Beast. So I'm going to go with actual Nicktoon.
It is an actual Nicktoon, but what is Bunsen is a Beast about?
Is it about is it a Muppet animated version of the Muppets and it's Dr. Bunsen? And he's
like a Bunsen honeydew kind of thing?
And he made like a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde kind of potion, and it's basically Dr. Bunsen and Mr. Hyde, and he became this monster that rapes and kills the streets of London at night.
That is absolutely correct. That's 100% accurate. Yeah. So watch Bunsen is a Beast on Nickelodeon.
What is it about?
It is about a monster that goes to school. It sounds kind of boring, to be honest with you.
Oh, that's cute. It's like Iron Monsters.
He's the first beast to attend Muckle Dunk Middle School.
I'm out.
And he's got a human friend who helps him navigate school. It's
Muckle Dunk.
I don't know.
Just call it Bayside High.
Just remake stuff from our old youngin'
days. Know. It sounds too trying to be Harry Potter or something.
It's got Sherry O'Terry does a voice on it, though. Hey, it's relatively new. It just started in January.
All right, what else we got?
Okay, so next up, we've got... what do we got here? We have The Loud House. Jack.
That pause right before it where you sounded almost like resigned, like, well, I've got nothing better. That tells me it's a Dan original. Dan made it up.
That is incorrect. The Loud House, an actual show on Nickelodeon. Jack, what do you think Loud House is about?
The school of deaf. The deaf school.
No, it is about
A family called the Louds.
the suburban life of Lincoln Loud, who is the only boy and middle child in a family of 11 children.
All right, one more.
So that's exciting. It doesn't look very good. I mean, it looks fine. I just, I'm an adult male who doesn't watch.
Left Foot, who's a little close to the demo. No offense. I mean a neutral tone. Says that supposedly Loud House is good.
All right, well, there you go.
He heard it from his fellow kids.
All right, so our last one here, Jack, we have got the Twinkle Twins. The Twinkle Twins on Nickelodeon. What do you think that one's about?
This is like now I'm trying to do the math of, well, if the two were true, what would this be statistically?
Now you're getting into my head. You're trying to play game theory with me on is it a Nickelodeon cartoon or not?
It sounds like a Nicktoon.
All right, so what's it about?
The Twinkle Twins?
Yeah, the Twinkle Twins.
It is about. No, that's offensive to homosexuals.
I'll just tell you right now, the Twinkle Twins is not a real Nicktoon. I made it up.
I know.
But yeah, let's back off of the potentially homophobic comments. All right, so I think that's all we have to say about Nicktoons. You got anything else you want to say?
Well, I'd like to hear more of the new ones for real.
That's it.
Oh,
it looks like there's only 4 originally produced cartoons airing on Nickelodeon, and the other 2 are SpongeBob and Ninja Turtles. So I figured you knew those 2.
I'm sure the specific ones will come up. We could go more into detail about Rugrats or whatever. But in general, I liked all of these shows. I didn't love them, and I really don't have that much of an attachment to them.
I love them.
I would consider. I would say Rugrats is my ugly animation. Like when the milk would splatter, the baby's milk, I would go. Ugh. I mean, I skeeved milk already, but I was just like, I don't know. I was just like, ugh, I don't want to see that.
I don't want to see that.
Kudrow would say in the comeback.
All right, guys. So thanks so much, Nick W, for that suggestion for that topic. We're gonna go into the random topic generator and get another one for your ear holes. Oh boy. This one was suggested by the Baha Men, and the topic is...
Who let the dogs out?
The Baha Men.
Oh, okay.
It's not even Who Let the Dogs Out.
It's the Baha Men in general?
So if you don't know who the Baha Men are, I envy you. But they were a group of Bahamians. They were from the Bahamas, hence the Baha Men.
Oh, I thought you said Bohemians.
No. They were a musical group in the Bahamas. Bahamians is what they're called.
Really?
Yeah.
Bahamians?
Bahamians, yeah. So they were the Baha Men.
Why wouldn't they just be the Bahamans?
They're the Bahamians. I don't know. Go down there and...
Why are you adding an I?
I'm not adding it. The Bahamians are doing it.
I mean you, the royal Bahamian you.
The royal Bahamian you. The Baha Men, they were a group out of the Bahamas, and they were responsible for the #1 hit, Who Let the Dogs Out?
Who
Let the Dogs Out?
This is one of those things, I've gone into this before, like Geely and shit like that, where the negative hype becomes its own existing beast, self-sustaining beast. I don't think the song Who Let the Dogs Out is the worst song in the world.
I mean, does anyone actually think it's the worst song in the world? I think it's just the most overplayed song in the world.
No, but there's other songs that are more overplayed.
Like, it is a song that once the first time you heard it, you were like, oh, that's catchy. And then the second time you heard it, you were like, okay, I never need to hear that again.
What do you think of Turn Down for What? Do you like that song?
It's okay.
I could listen to Turn Down for What once in a while and actually seek it out and play it.
Yeah.
I think that's no different from Who Let the Dogs Out.
I don't know. I mean, Who Let the Dogs Out was definitely like a novelty hit.
So was Turn Down for What?
Not really. The Baha Men, so they did a style of music. It's called Junkaroo, which is a Bahamian style of music. I've been to the Bahamas many times and heard Junkaroo at the Radisson in the Bahamas.
Like Dunkaroos?
Yeah, like Dunkaroos. They may or may not have been a Shrek. Junkanoo, I'm sorry, not Junkaroo. I think I wanted it to be Dunkaroos.
I've been to the Bahamas many times.
Well,
I consider myself a Junkaroo
I'm
expert.
pretty much an expert on all things Bahamian. But yeah, this song is kind of in a new Junkanoo style. It's new
junk. N-U with the umlaut.
New junk.
New junk.
Yeah. What's funny is apparently the Baha Men have been around since 1980. And this was their obviously their biggest hit.
When they were Baha boys.
When they were just little Baha boys.
Little Baha babies.
Yeah. They had a song called Back to the Island, which was a local hit.
They had a song, Who Let the Puppies Out?
Oh, boy. Who Let the Dogs Out? When did it actually come out? I think it was...
99.
It may have been later than that. Hang on a second.
Yeah, it might have been in
Was
2000s.
it 2000?
It could have been.
It was released as a single on July 26, 2000. Why are we talking about this? This is this is not a 90s
well,
topic.
No, he said the Baha Men. He didn't say Who Let the Dogs Out. Or
You know
she.
what? You're absolutely right.
So, how many people are in this band?
Judging from their Wikipedia page, they've at least had about 15 to 20 members in the duration of their time.
So it's more of
currently 9 people.
It's not like it's the Beatles. It's more of this, almost like this troupe that you can go in and out of.
I guess.
Or is there like is it one of the? Is it a case where
So it
there's
seems
like a defining voice and that guy's been there and then everybody else is kind of rotated?
So Rick Carey, who's 39 years old.
From the Bahamas.
From the Bahamas. He's a Bahamian music producer, singer, and musician. He's the lead vocalist of the Baha Men. He seems to be the linchpin of the group.
He was there from start to finish.
There from start to finish. Why did it say they started in 1980 if he would have been 3 years old in 1980?
I don't know. That makes me feel better because it's like, look, we're at 63 episodes here. We have 7 viewers. We're still struggling to get a big audience. I like to. It makes me feel better that maybe 20 years from now we'll have our Who Let the Dogs Out podcast.
Absolutely. I think
and then
so.
Everybody will hate us.
Absolutely. I'm going to name some albums that the Baha Men put out, and you tell me if they're real.
All right, we're playing. Is this a real Baha Men album, or did Dan just make it up? Cue Paul Schaefer keyboard riff.
All right, here we go. High Voltage.
It's more like Electric Six. So that's funny. Left Foot. Real.
Left Foot said they took a risk hiring a 3-year-old for their
real.
band. That is real. It was, in fact, their original name, High Voltage. So we're learning a lot about the Baha Men today, more than I ever wanted to.
That's less Caribbean to me, although the Baja is on the other side of Mexico, right? The West Coast?
Yeah, that's on. Oh, no.
Baja, California?
Well, Baja California, yeah, but the Bahamas are on the East Coast.
That's what I'm saying. Oh, it's Baha Men like Bahama Men.
Yeah.
Is it spelled B-A-H-A?
Yes.
Oh.
They're not the low men, which is what Baha means in Spanish.
I always thought it was Baja with a J.
I don't know. It's B-A-H-A men. The Baha Men.
That makes much more. Wait, so there's 2 Bajas on identical longitudes of Mexico?
I don't think people call the Bahamas the Bahamas. People don't call the Bahamas the Baha.
Good thing we have noted Bahamas expert here.
Yes, that's why I'm here. 2-0, like 2 the number, the word 0.
Oh, we're still playing the game.
And 0-0, yeah.
No, I thought we were saying...
We're playing the game now. We're back to the
I'm
game.
still shocked that there's a Baja on the
I know,
left
that's why I'm trying to catch you off guard with a wacky title.
What's this wacky title?
It's the number 2, the words spelling 0, and then the number 0, a hyphen, and the number 0. It's clearly far too specific for me to have made it up.
I'm still trying to visualize it. So it's the year 2000, but with the word 0 in the middle?
Yeah, so yeah, it's just that. It's just 2, the word 0, and then 0-0,
Right,
like
so
a man
number
with
2,
eyes.
word 0, and then a soccer score 0-0.
Yeah, which is obviously a real one. It came out in 1999.
All right, I purposely didn't look at the others. Give me one more.
All right, Doong Spank.
Like Hoobastank?
Like D-O-O-N-G, Spank.
That's also real.
It has to be real, because why would I make up such a very strange thing? What does Doong Spank mean? Wikipedia is of no help.
Is it like the Bahamas version of Hoobastank?
I think that's right. Well, the first track is Crawling in the Dark, a cover by Hoobastank.
Is that the name of the Hoobastank song?
It's not actually, yeah.
I couldn't name a Hoobastank song.
That was their first hit, Crawling in the Dark. I've been crawling in the dark. But then their big one was The Reason, which was a piece of shit song.
Okay.
All of their songs are pieces of shit songs. So I think that's about all we can talk about the Baha Men. So unless you have any other thing you want to say.
Are they still doing shit?
They are still doing shit.
I know they recorded a special special guest spot on The Simpsons. We covered that.
They did. We talked about that when we did that Simpsons episode on our Simpsons show.
They seem fun. They seem like they're having a good time. I really don't like when people just gang up on a pop culture thing for no reason. Like Who Let the Dogs Out? There's no reason to hate on that song. You don't have to listen to it, but it's not like, I don't know. There's so much worse things in pop. Like, how could people give you shit about, Who Let the Dogs Out? Like that. That's a joke. But Chris Brown can still have a successful music career.
Well, that's a whole other issue.
That blows my mind.
But the Baha Men, I'm sure they've made a shitload of money off of this just one song, which is still played like everywhere today. Like you play it at sporting events.
I honestly, I equate it in the same mind. My mind is a novelty, but also pop dance song like the Macarena or even like Turn Down For. I think Turn Down For What is the new version, the more modern version of one of those songs.
I think the modern version of like a Who Let the Dogs Out is clearly that Psy song that everyone's obsessed with for forever.
Yeah, what was it?
Gangnam Style.
Yeah, but I think that's the same thing. I think
like these weird, and they always seem to be like
catchy.
crossover hits that just reach stratospheric heights and like until the point where your mom knows
What
them.
does the fox say? Yeah.
That was a good song, actually. And
So
that
it was Turned Out for What? So it was Gangnam Style.
and the band that did the Fox song, what the hell was their name?
Harlem Shake.
That was not the name of the band.
No, but these are all catchy.
I know.
These are all legitimately good.
But they're like an
pop
actual
dance songs.
band, like a comedy, like Flight of the Conchords type band.
Yeah,
and that was
they-
just like that just happened to take off, and it's a funny song. I
it's
like the
catchy.
Fox. All right, so thanks so much, the Baha Men, for submitting your
Thank
own.
you, Easy. It was Yelvis.
Yes, that was it. Thank you. So thank you to the Baha Men for submitting themselves as a topic. We're running through a bunch of topics, Jack. This is great.
Yeah, two.
We're gonna get rid of a lot of them.
2 topics.
So here we go. This one is from Ted in Phoenix. That is a nice change of pace from Daniel and Soul.
Are you all gonna start just say like
Feel free to tell us where you're from.
We're like a
Like a call-in show,
like a
yeah.
call-in show. Yeah.
Hello, Ted. I'm listening. So Ted in Phoenix, his topic, Virtual Boy. Virtual Boy. Great topic. Did you have a Virtual Boy, Jack?
No, I had an R Zone.
Our Zone was basically just the Tiger
Electronics.
handheld thing, but in your eye, right?
Yeah, but wasn't Virtual Boy basically a Game Boy, but in your eye?
Kind of. I mean, it was 3D. I bought a
was it?
Virtual Boy once it was a catastrophic... Well, we should say what it was. It was a catastrophic failure for Nintendo. It was this giant eyepiece thing that you couldn't even strap to your head. You had to, like, put it in this, like, an easel type thing and, like, put your face into it and hold the controller. It was a huge, huge failure.
It was VR, but it was before the technology was there.
Right. It was 3D, and it was entirely black
Oculus
and red.
Mist.
It was entirely black and red, and most of the games were like wireframes, 3D things.
Yeah.
So I bought one and a bunch of games for it. Once I think I spent like $100 to get a Virtual Boy.
What was their first game? Mario.
They did have a game. I think it was called Mario Clash. Was the first?
It was just
Mario
Mario
game.
singing "London Calling."
Yeah, it was.
London Calling.
A London calling from the faraway town.
Et cetera, et cetera,
Et cetera. You can fill in the blanks. It was bad, Virtual Boy. It was kind of fun. Some of the games were good. I had Mario Tennis also, which was kind of fun. You play it in 3D, but there was a big warning that would come on when you turn the Virtual Boy on, being like, you can't play this for more than, I think it was 20 minutes, because then your eyes, like, you could do serious damage to your eyes.
Really? You could actually hurt your eyes?
Yeah, because you're looking into just black and red. And it's just, there was a visor to keep all of the light out, to keep the 3D effect going.
Could that actually physically damage? Like, I know if you stare at something like that for a while, your color's going to be off. Like, if you go out, if you're at the beach all day and you come in, everything's going to be kind of muted for an hour or two.
Yeah.
But would it really do permanent damage just staring at black and red all day?
I'm not an expert when it comes to eyesight, but yes.
I thought you were a Bahamas
100%.
Ophthalmologist.
I'm a ophthalmologist from the Bahamas. Yeah.
Left Foot is very impressed that you actually owned a Virtual Boy.
I did, and Left Foot, I saw that you had asked how many units had they actually sold. 770,000, which is not a lot.
So this was like the
for Nintendo.
the Wii U of its day, because the Wii U kind of came and went. Wii U might be the first Nintendo console I never owned, because I was gonna get one, but now that Mario Kart 8 is out for the Switch, I might just get the Switch next.
Yeah. The Virtual Boy, it was kind of fun. I mean, it was bad that it was just two colors, and one of them was this horrible bright red.
The same was with R-Zone. That's why I equate it with R-Zone. R-Zone was also, you strapped it around your head, it was vector graphics, and it was red. But it was one single eyepiece, so I guess it couldn't have been 3D. And also, at some point, I got bored with it, and my mom bought me this really expensive R-Zone TV screen, and it was about this big. It was about the size of like I don't know, like a lunchbox.
Yeah.
And it was a TV screen, and you could put R-Zone cartridges in it and just play it like a regular on a TV.
I see. So that defeats the entire purpose of having it. Nice. Very good.
It was basically like, I guess, like the Nintendo Switch to the Wii U.
Yeah.
And the R Zone was straight up like those cheap handheld Tiger
I
Electronics
remember
games.
the R Zone. I never had it, but it was just like a monocle almost, right?
Yes,
that
yeah.
like went over one eye, and
Exactly.
you
You
were
had to-
like inside the Tiger handheld game.
Yeah, you had to close your other eye while you played. It was basically playing a Tiger handheld game up in your face, but
Yeah.
red. And Tiger handheld games was only black and white. It was like calculator graphics, so it wasn't that big of a difference. It was just red instead of black.
Yeah. Only 22 games were made for the Virtual Boy. I'm going
That's
to run
it.
through them
Wow.
real quick
Yeah.
since it's so
Oh,
few.
let's play. What's a real Virtual Boy game? And what did Dan just make up? Cue Paul Schaefer keyboard music.
Dan's tired of making things up, even
You
though I
didn't
barely
make
made
any up? I
any
don't
up.
think you made
I
any.
made up Twinkle Twins. 3D Tetris, that's a real one. I'm just going to tell you. I did not have that
You don't
one.
want to play the game for the listeners? You don't want to have some fun?
All right, we'll play the game. Bomberman, Panic Bomber. Is that a real one?
Yeah, Bomberman's real.
Yeah, that's a real one. Galactic Pinball.
Yes.
That is a real one, and it was awesome. That was one of the ones I had, and I am a huge sucker for video game pinball games.
Do you have the Pinball FX?
I do.
I just bought some new Marvel and Star Wars tables yesterday. Me and my girlfriend played.
Yeah, I haven't. I can't play it because I get very, very sucked into video pinball games and like get obsessed with them.
I'm a casual player, which is the worst way to play pinball.
No, I get pulled in and just play it over and over for hours at a time.
I've got some really cool tables. If you want to play,
I bet you do.
I do.
I bet you do.
I don't like that the Force Awakens pinball table plays the Rebel theme from the end of New Hope. That makes no sense. I don't understand.
No, it does not. Okay, Jack. Jack Brothers. The hell is Jack Brothers? Is that a real game?
Real.
Yeah, it is real. Because what the hell is Jack Brothers?
Is it the Twinkle Twins? But this game's about their first name.
Jack Brothers is an action video game. It's a spin-off from some Japanese game. You take the role of one of the three Jack Brothers, Jack Frost, Jack Lantern, or Jack Skeleton, who visit the human world for Halloween.
Nightmare Before Christmas, that sounds like.
It sounds a lot like Nightmare Before Christmas.
So I'm curious, why...
It does not look good.
Why was there this obsession with virtual reality in the early 90s? Like, scientists must have known we weren't there yet. But, like, you have, not Deliverance, Disturbance?
Disturbance?
What was
Talking about Virtuosity with Russell Crowe?
No, wasn't there another one? Disclosure? Was that virtual reality?
Disclosure, it was Michael, what's his face?
Anyway,
Michael Douglas.
You got the Virtual Boy, you got the R-Zone, you got that SNL sketch where they read Moby Dick in virtual reality.
Right.
Why this? Like, I know virtual reality's been around in different forms for decades, but why this goggles with a remote, which is basically where we are now. It's basically like people like Palmer Luckey.
I feel like VR
grew up
has
on
not...
this shit and made it actual real.
So I feel like in the 80s, VR was a thing. Once we had like computer animation, we were like, oh, we're gonna get a virtual reality soon, and like it's been allegedly coming for close to 40 years at this point. And even now, like, we're not totally there. Like, I've tried out Oculus and a couple of things, and they're cool, but it's still just strapping something to your face to be in a video game. Like, we're not, like, in the Matrix yet. I don't know if we're going to get there ever.
But it's funny that the goggle handset idea was really popular in the early mid-90s.
Yeah.
I wonder why. I guess it must be the natural evolution of the Game Boy. I guess the Game Boy was super popular in the late 80s.
Sure.
And this was just a natural extension of it.
Yeah. Nestor's Funky Bowling. Is that a real game, Jack?
Yes.
It was. Do you know who Nestor was?
No.
You ever read Nintendo Power back in the day?
No.
Nestor was like the cartoon character. They had a comic series, The Adventures of Nestor and
Oh,
Howard.
because NES.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
that was one I had too. That was a fun one.
And so you had two options. They could have named their mascot Nestor, because NES, Nintendo Entertainment System, or they could have named him Jim Tendo.
I kind of like Jim Tendo.
Left Foot asks, what makes bowling funky?
Oh, man. You don't even want to know how funky this bowling got. There was just like
George Clinton is playing in the background?
Well, I don't know if you know about Nestor, but Nestor, not Nestor Carbonell, who played Batman Well on the Dick.
The mayor from Dark Knight.
Yeah,
Lost.
right. Yeah, Richard Alpert from Lost.
Worst name ever. Why do they have to make all their names so stupid on that show? They either wanted to name him after a philosopher or make it some kind of funny, like a cool, cryptic anagram. And as a result, all the names were terrible. Like at first, like John Locke, fine. You know, that's fine.
Sure.
But then you got like Jeremy Bentham and but it just, you know.
They started just naming people after
David,
philosophers.
Desmond
Rousseau.
Hume. It's so stupid. That show, I love Lost so much, but what a stupid show.
I don't know about that.
I know. It's a terrible show, but I love it.
But no, going back to Nestor's Funky Bowling, I don't know if you know anything about Nestor, but he was a funky, bit of an underachiever and proud of it type. He was basically Bart Simpson.
Oh, he's a kid.
Yeah. And I remember nothing about the bowling being especially funky. I'm sure some of the soundtrack was like, which is as funky as the Virtual Boy could get.
Which is a shame because a game like Straight Up Wii Bowling had some really funky elements that were so much fun, like with bowling with 100 pins and bumpers in the middle of that lane. Yeah.
Sure. Mario Blast.
I'm surprised they didn't try a VR again 10 years ago with the Wii. That seems like it would have been a natural extension. I
mean, you had the kind of physical interaction with the game aspect to it. So that's a type of virtual reality.
The 360 stuff I understand is that's the tricky hurdle that we're just getting to now. But I'm surprised they, like when Wii was super successful and everybody and their grandmothers were playing it, why not come out with a Wii peripheral where you would basically just be playing the game, but up front in your eyes. It didn't even have to be turn left and you're in the world. You could even just keep the screen oriented. But I feel like that itself would be just immersive enough to be a cynical cash grab. You know, I put on the Wii bowling and I just see my arm and I'm playing with the Wii remote and I'm bowling. To me, that's, it's not that far away from the cool VR we have now.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't do that. This is why I should be in charge of multi-billion-dollar Japanese companies.
You should be.
I don't know why. I don't know what.
We'll call them up. I'm also a Japan
Exactly,
expert.
yeah. Fisher Michaels, the PSVR, which is one of the big three right now, they use the old Move controllers from PS3, which was their answer to the Wiimotes.
Right. Well, you need some kind of controller in VR. I mean, I don't know if...
But I'm not. Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm surprised we had everything there already. It wouldn't have been virtual reality by any means, but it would have been like the Virtual Boy. It would have been kind of like a. It would be tricking you into to thinking it's VR.
What do you think about the basically the holodeck that Microsoft is trying to build?
The HoloLens. The holodeck would be amazing.
Well, but that's where they're trying to get to eventually, is having like a holodeck.
Well, it seems like it's too hard to tell. It seems like in about 5 years, when VR is cheap enough to be around, arcades are going to come back. And instead of going to an arcade to pump quarters into cabinets, you will be playing VR experiences in a way that will be much better than you could do in your own living room. That you can have rooms where there's textile walls that fit the thing, or they could have water and air spraying in your face. The sound can be more surround sound.
Yeah.
So I think VR will be best applied in like mall arcades in these kind of fake holodecks.
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't, VR is super expensive now, so I don't know if
That's
it's going to take off.
That's why this model makes more. It's just like why would you buy your own self-driving car? Everything's going to the fleet model where you would kind of just everybody would share.
Yeah.
So everybody would share a VR chamber.
That's right. Well, until we start using them for sex, and then you don't want to go into someone else's.
You don't want to reuse that
old sex VR chamber.
But we probably will anyway, because beggars can't be choosers.
Yeah. Basically, the world is going to change a lot in the next 30 years.
Yeah,
I don't know what the hell's going to happen.
We'll probably be the last generation to age and die. So I hope you guys enjoy our lasting record for humanity here.
They're going to reconstitute us based on these podcasts.
We're going to be like Jor-El in Superman Returns. So
perfect.
Yeah, some like Ready Player One characters like, I must visit the podcast gods, Jan and Jack. Hello, I made this fake show up.
I would love it if we were somehow the podcast gods. We really have been doing well for ourselves.
We were the lesser gods.
We were
down there with, I don't know, like Bacchus's secretary or something. I don't know.
Hey, Jack, they only made 22 Virtual Boy games.
Yeah.
Did they make a licensed tie-in game to Virtuosity?
Yes.
No, they didn't.
You got me. Gene!
Would have made sense. But you know what game they actually did make? Waterworld.
That makes sense.
Does it? Because both of them were catastrophic failures. It's so fascinating that Waterworld had a Virtual Boy game when they were both the biggest bombs of 1995.
I think Waterworld suffers from just bad hype. It did lose a lot of money.
I've actually never really seen all of Waterworld.
It's a good movie. It's a perfectly 90s action movie. It's not any worse or any better than most 90s fare.
But Virtual Boy wasn't even a terrible game either, or a terrible system. It was just a huge, huge failure, as was Waterworld. They're both the two biggest failures of 1995, I would say.
Yeah. Box office failure for Waterworld. It made its
commercial
money,
failures, I'm saying.
It made its money back.
Did it?
And VHS and shit.
They say Austin Powers didn't even make its money back. That's Hollywood bookkeeping for you.
Oh, boy, these stupid... What's it called?
Hollywood moguls.
No, when you're like...
I don't know, accountants.
When you're like trying to steal everybody's... Robber barons.
Robber barons,
These movie barons.
Movie barons. Like the Great Baron, the Red Baron from Peanuts cartoons.
Sure.
I don't know.
We don't like studio execs, is what we're saying.
I don't know. I have much else to say about Virtual Boy. It was weird. I think I threw my Virtual Boy out, which is probably a shame.
I have my GameCube in one of my closets somewhere.
My GameCube is long gone. Because, I don't ever play video games anymore these days. I play fucking pinball.
I guess we'll say it now. We talked with Colleen and Christina a couple of 90s percentiles ago about Jackbox, and somebody recommended it. One of our listeners, they've Fibbage and Quiplash. I got it. It's awesome. Last night I was playing with Twitch to figure out how I could play with you guys, and I think we could do it. So let us know in the Reddit if you want to organize a play date, and we'll play some
play date with Jack and Dan.
We'll live stream. We'll stream on Twitch. It's very simple, actually. You basically just go to a website and you can watch my Xbox, and then we can all play together on our smartphones.
Sounds like a hell of a time.
Pretty fun.
You guys got nothing to do and want to hang out with us, your old pals from the internet. All right, so Ted
your
and Phoenix,
podcast gods
bow to us, swear to me.
We're like We're like Ray Fiennes and Liam Neeson in those Titan movies where
that's
we're
right.
overexposed in the back. Here. And release the Kraken and so forth.
And whatnot. Yeah. All right, so thanks Ted and Phoenix for suggesting the Virtual Boy as a topic. We're going to move on to our next topic from the Random Topic Generator. It is Escape from L.A. from Mr. Spider Clown. We've already talked about Escape from L.A. just a few episodes ago.
Well, thank you, Mr. Spider Clown. We appreciate the topic, but we literally had that 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, so thanks for that.
I think the verdict was not decent movie of the 90s.
The verdict was Dan hasn't seen it. All right, so thank you. Boy, oh boy. This one comes from Adrian Keeler.
Thank you, Adrian Keeler.
It's a long one. I think we can condense it to one piece of this, but it is the TV sitcom Moesha ended on a cliffhanger of her being pregnant because they expected it to come back, and it never did.
I guess she was
I didn't know
expecting.
That. Oh, boy.
To get renewed.
I have never seen Moesha. I'm familiar with it. This was...
Brandy?
Yeah, Brandy's sitcom. I'm looking it up right now. And... it was on, what was it, on UPN? It was on UPN from 1996 to 2001, starring Brandy as Moesha Denise Mitchell, a high school student living with her family in Los Angeles.
Yeah, I never watched it.
I never watched it either.
I'd catch it on TV once in a while. It seemed like one of those typical, I don't want to say family-oriented sitcoms, but because it was definitely more focused on it. It was almost like Blossom.
Yeah, I mean, it was...
But it was more... It was considered like on the competent end of the spectrum of these sitcoms. You know, it's still cheesy. There's still lessons to be learned, but it was kind of more well done. It wasn't as disposable as a lot of these sitcoms.
I'm trying to confirm...
Brandy was just in the news for something, but I can't remember if it was a good thing or a bad thing.
Well, what's her face? Who was Brandy's old partner? She had like a new song recently that was pretty big, wasn't it?
Brandy's old partner?
Yeah, it was Brandy and someone.
You're not thinking of The Boy Is Mine, right?
Yes, I am.
I think that was just a one-off, wasn't it? I don't think they were partners. I think they were actually rivals.
Brandy and Monica. Yeah.
Aren't they rivals?
Yeah, probably. I don't really know much about Brandy, to be honest with you. They both wanted the boy. Brandy's only 38 now. I didn't know that.
Well, she played a high schooler in the late 90s.
I guess that makes sense. At the time, we were in high school, so it would make sense she's only a little bit older than we are. But yeah, Monica was who I was thinking of. Didn't she just have a hit recently?
She married Chandler, I believe. Got him.
This guy, am I right? Oh, boy. I know next to nothing about Brandy, Monica, Moesha, any of this stuff. I watched a few shows on UPN. This was not one of them. Monday Night SmackDown was.
I was just glossing through the Wikipedia article for Brandy.
Yeah.
And you just mentioned she's 38.
Yeah.
And then I see the sub-wiki, and it just says... aging, and I was like, "Oh, that's really mean." And then I realized I was looking at the liquor brandy, like the alcohol.
Oh,
it's just like, really, you have a whole. And I was like, aging, that's really mean. And then I see oak barrels, and I was like, "Oh, I see what's going on
yeah,
here."
you've taken a wrong turn on Wikipedia.
Culinary uses for Moesha, for brandy.
Culinary uses for Moesha. If we had a title on this episode, that would be it. Brandy, what's the deal with Brandy? Ray J's her brother. I know that much.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And he was famous for some reality show and then the sex tape, right?
I think it was pretty much the sex tape first.
So wait, he wasn't that famous and Kim Kardashian wasn't that famous, but the sex tape made them both famous?
Yes, one of them much more famous than the other.
But doesn't one of them already have to be famous for the sex tape to be interesting? Well, I have sex tapes, but nobody cares.
Do you actually have sex tapes?
I mean, I videotape myself masturbating.
It counts.
It counts.
It counts.
No, I mean, in terms, I masturbated in front of my Xbox Connect, and I assume some hacker was watching.
Someone is watching it. We periscoped that once.
My what?
Yeah. Oh no. Oh, sorry. You didn't know about that. Yeah. Don't worry about it. Yeah. I know next to nothing about Brandy. I literally know nothing about Ray J. I don't think he was anything before the sex tape. Maybe he was like a rapper or trying to be one.
Oh, Shar Jackson was on Moesha.
Who's Shar Jackson?
Wasn't she? The baby mama, Jesus.
The baby mother. You couldn't sound more uncool.
The Wu-Tang band. Did you see the Leftovers this week?
I did see Leftovers.
Wasn't she with K-Fed?
I have no idea. Shar Jackson.
I think you were the big K-Fed expert. You had, memorized his stupid song.
I do love Popo's Out.
And you don't know who Shar Jackson is?
I don't know who Shar Jackson is. I'm not super up on the life and times of K-Fed. But you're right. They were married from 2001 to 2004, and she has 4 children. I assume at least one of them is with him.
Bernie Mac was a recurring character on it. Usher was on it.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
Master P.
I'm trying to confirm whether or not there was a series finale that was a cliffhanger that left with Moesha being pregnant.
So
I can't do that because, believe it or not, Moesha doesn't have episode by episode descriptions on Wikipedia.
So Moesha I think it gets kind of a bad
Everybody
rap.
say Moesha. I remember that was the theme song.
I think it gets a bad rap because it was on UPN, which was kind of wasn't one of the big four. But it looks like it was a really heavy hitter show because it's got like a crazy amount of guest stars. It's got Genuine. It's got Kobe Bryant, Little Bow Wow, Mary J. Blige, Morris Day, DMX, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre. It
Jack,
has dozens.
With kind of dancing around the obvious, I don't think we were the target market for Moesha and a lot of UPN programming.
Right, but that's what I'm saying is it was probably a really huge...
Oh, it was a huge success. It was apparently the biggest success of the UPN network.
So I'm looking at its ratings. First 2 seasons, 3.5 million. Third season, 4 million. Then by the fifth season, it had lost almost half of its viewers. Sixth season was up, back to 3.3 million. Now, 3.3 million for UPN.
That's huge. That's huge numbers.
The only reason I could see the show being canceled by surprise would be some kind of contract problems with Brandy. Maybe that she was asking too much money or something.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, let's see. Why did it get canceled?
Oh, the Parkers was a spinoff. I didn't realize that.
The series ended in an unresolved cliffhanger with Miles being kidnapped by a rival of Dorian. This is not something... I didn't expect a kidnapping or a rival of anyone named Dorian. Moesha was considering moving in with Hakeem and an unknown positive pregnancy test being found in the trash at Moesha's dorm. Unresolved plot lines were going to be resolved on the Parkers, but those plans fell through. Interesting. I guess it just says the ratings dropped and UPN opted not to renew it.
I don't know.
I think at that point, too,
there was some robber baron shenanigans going on in the background with the execs.
Well, probably around that point is when they were going to start having discussions with the WB to become the CW.
No, this was before that.
No? And when did UPN...
And UPN became
UPN
CW like third season of Veronica Mars, so after we had graduated college.
UPN died...
2009, 2010.
Looks like it was 2006. Early 2006 is when they announced they were shutting down.
And then it took about a year.
Yeah.
So yeah, after we had graduated college, long after this show had ended.
Well, we were still in college in 2006.
I graduated. I graduated December 2005.
Oh, I didn't.
No.
Oh, I graduated early. I'm Jack. Look at me.
Well, even if you
I'm a
graduated
fancy
early,
man.
even if you graduated on time, you still would have been a graduate in 2006. You would have graduated.
Yeah, I graduated
May?
May 2006.
Yeah, so you have
not January 2006.
More than half of the year you were a
Did
college
I win?
graduate.
Did I win?
You lost.
I won.
You were a college graduate
no.
more than half of the year.
No. That doesn't matter.
I also had
By the time UPN dissolved, I was still in college.
and I had my first full-time job in 2006, so I consider that post-college.
I don't believe you.
Anywho,
I don't believe you at all. So I don't know what more we can say about Moesha or the cliffhanger. We could try to come up with our own cliffhanger.
My theory
resolution.
My theory is that the ratings isn't the whole story there.
So, okay, it says it ended on an unresolved cliffhanger with Miles being kidnapped by a rival of Dorian. Jack, who is Miles? And who is a rival of Dorian? And who is Dorian? And why did they kidnap Miles?
I don't know. I didn't watch the show.
Me neither. I mean, I did not expect there to be kidnapping involved in Moesha. It seemed like a pretty normal family sitcom.
I guess it did the whole... it did one of those things a lot of these sitcoms do where eventually they just kind of become more soapy near the end.
Yeah. Wild. There was a spinoff called The Parkers.
I really am shocked. I knew it was a big show, especially in the urban market, but this list of guest stars is crazy impressive. Bo Jackson,
Jamie
Robert
Foxx,
Guillaume,
Shaq was on there.
Manuel Lewis, T.V. Webster, Lil' Kim, Maureen McCormick, Shaquille O'Neal.
Now, I saw Estelle Harris was
Retta.
listed here. And I was going to say, I was excited because I thought it was Estelle Getty. But
Estelle
no,
Harris
Estelle
is the
Harris.
mom from Roseanne.
Yeah, no, the mom from Seinfeld. That's George's mom.
Oh.
So she was a notable guest star on Moesha.
Who's Estelle Harris? Who's the mom on... Oh, maybe her character's name was Estelle
I have no idea.
on Roseanne?
Tyrese was on, though. He was on Moesha.
Roseanne coming back, by the way. Very excited.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a good idea.
Why not?
Not every sitcom needs to come back.
It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt to not have it. It's not taking anything away.
Does it?
No.
I think it does.
No, it doesn't.
I think it does. All right, so I think we've butchered Moesha enough. Hey, El DeBarge was once on Moesha. Did you know that?
Yes. 11 minutes, 25 seconds left on the clock. What will our next topic be?
You didn't know that. All right, so thank you, Adrian Keeler, for that topic. We're going to do probably one more, or maybe just a couple more. This one comes from Car Newley. I think I said it right, Car. Lunchables is the topic.
Oh, now, wow. That just immediately gave me a craving, and I know for a fact, within a light second, I knew for a fact that at some point this week I'm going to buy a Lunchables and eat it. Like, as soon as I just...
So they still make Lunchables?
As soon as you said that word, I just immediately had a craving for some crackers and cold cuts.
So here's the thing. If I've ever had Lunchables, it was one time in my
What?
life. My mom didn't buy
What?
Lunchables.
So my mom bought Lunchables. Lunchables, if you don't know, were these TV dinner type of refrigerated meals you could bring to lunch.
It's a smart idea.
And it was like a TV tray with the separate compartments, and there were crackers for your bread. There were little round pieces of cold cuts so you could make a sandwich. There was cheese, and then there was a snack, like a pudding or a cookie.
Yeah.
And so I would get these, and like I said, it was 4 different things. And I didn't eat cheese until a few years ago.
That is a damn shame.
Like, I would eat mozzarella and stuff, but I would never eat American cheese or even cheddar. One time they accidentally put it on my McDonald's hamburger.
Everyone is outraged that I'm not like a huge Lunchables
Yeah, no,
guy.
that's ridiculous.
Maybe I'll have one. Maybe I'll buy one on my way home today.
Anyway, I would throw the cheese out. So I was legit throwing out 25% of this expensive thing
Oh,
my mom would
man.
bought every day. I know, but now
You
that
couldn't have traded that cheese to someone else for something good?
here's some cheese.
I would have taken you up on that deal.
But in college, I had a 24-hour deli across the street from me, and I had many nights I would just drunkenly, like after coming home from the bar, just go in and buy a Lunchables and then eat it at home.
Sure. That sounds like a perfect time to eat a Lunchable.
Loved Lunchable. I haven't had one in a while, but it was so salty and just it was so tasty. It was so tasty.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it is because it's things I like. It's crackers, cheese, and lunch meat.
Live Periscope, Dan eating Lunchables. We did it for
could-
bologna
we could
sandwiches.
do that.
All right, we'll do that. I'll hold
fine
off
with
on my
that.
Lunchables. We will do a Lunchables.
We'll eat Lunchables together.
We'll do it on our next Periscope 90s percentile.
Yeah, so Lunchables originally designed in 1985 as a way for Oscar Mayer to sell more bologna and other lunch meat. So that's pretty smart on the part of
those
Oscar
fucking
Mayer.
robber barons just trying to milk every dime out of the cold cut industry.
Wikipedia has a very helpful list of other possible names for Lunchables. Do you want to hear these?
I want to hear some mixed with some that you've made up.
All right, pick which one is the made-up one.
Cue keyboard riff.
I'm
by
going to
Paul
list
Schaefer.
all of them, and then at the end you tell me which one is made up, or which one you think might be better than Lunchables. So here we go. Entrees,
ENTRAYS.
Cracker Witches,
No, I'm out.
Mini Meals,
And this is before Mini Me, huh?
yeah, Lunch Kits,
Yeah.
Luncharonis,
That doesn't make sense.
Snackables.
There's nothing to do with macaroni.
Snackables.
Snackables makes sense. Actually, isn't that a thing now, Snackables?
It might be. Square Meals,
Oh, like 3 square meals a day? And they're
Walk
squares?
Meals? I don't know what that means. Walk Meals.
WALK?
Yeah.
Like Walkmans. Like it's a portable Walkman.
Oh, I
It's
guess,
a portable cassette
maybe.
player. Walk meal.
Go Packs.
It sounds like a diabetes thing.
And the most 90s one possible, Fun Meals, but meal is spelled with a Z. One of those was fake, Jack. Do you know which one?
What was the second to last one?
It was probably Go Packs.
Go Packs.
No, it was actually Luncharonis, the one that made no sense.
I did know that one was fake. I did know that one was fake.
Yeah, Luncharonis was a Dan original.
I love entrees, but Lunchables.
Entrees is really funny.
Lunchables is the perfect name, especially it just fits the look. But what is that a pun of?
I guess Munchable?
Is Munchable a word?
I don't know. What is Lunchables a pun of? Where did the name Lunchable actually originate?
I don't know. I do love them. Somebody in the comments said they were a big fan of the pizza one, which was very popular. I don't think I actually ever had a pizza Lunchables, but the very idea of me, and I love Lunchables, the very idea of the pizza Lunchables turned me off. Like the idea of cold tomato sauce, and I don't know, maybe it's because we actually have real pizza here in New York.
Able to eat as lunch. I like that,
okay,
Fisher Michaels.
That works. But yeah, no, I thought the taco ones and the pizza ones did not work. I thought it only worked if it was cold cuts and it was cold. If it was something that needed to be warmed up, it's not the right food product for this brand.
There's a whole section on nutrition on the Lunchables Wikipedia
no,
page.
not at all good for you.
I think that's why my mom didn't buy it. Especially it
You're
says
saying my mom was a bad mom? Is that what you're saying?
Didn't say that.
Are you saying my mom was a bad mom because she gave me processed meats and crackers for lunch?
In 1997, Lunchables came under fire for having high... My mom, by the way, I ate coffee cake for breakfast. Don't worry about that. I had a salami sandwich every day in high school, which is terrible for you.
Your mom was a terrible mom.
Well, I'm not saying that.
We're having right here. This is probably going to be that one episode she listens to again.
I love my mommy.
She's just going to listen to this one episode and you're just going to be like, my mom poisoned me.
Apparently, one single serving of ham and Swiss Lunchables contained 1,780 milligrams of sodium, 47% of the recommended daily allowance for an adult.
Do you guys?
And it was marketed as healthy.
New York is one of the more progressive cities when it comes to food and like the soda tax, and we were one of the first to put calories on the menus. And let's get rid of the trans fats. Right now, the new one is the sodium alert. It'll put a sodium.
A little sodium icon.
If you go to McDonald's, you look up at the menu. Next to the calorie count, there'll be like a salt shaker or something, and that means just that one product is already the more sodium than you're supposed to have in one day.
Yeah.
And I went to Wendy's, and every fucking item on the menu had it. And
I went
was
to Popeyes, and same thing.
And I ordered like 5 things from the menu because who goes and gets like one burger and nothing else from a fast food place?
Yep.
And I was just like, holy I guess it's doing its job, but I'm still gonna get the things. But now I'm just like sad because I know I'm going to die from all the sodium.
Yep, I went to Popeyes with Jangle actually, and because she'd never had it, and literally everything had it. It was just all
That's
sodium.
crazy.
All sodium all the time at
Just
Popeyes.
cut the sodium out. Just cut the sodium out.
I mean, sodium is bad for you.
It's not the worst because unlike other bad things, you can kind of counteract its bad by just drinking a lot of water and peeing it out and shit.
Sort of. I kind of cling to that too, even though that's not really true.
It's like more of a short-term bad. Like you might die that hour, but once you get it out of your body, the damage isn't. I mean, there's some heart damage.
But the problem is
nothing
like
major.
People eat that shit every day, and if you eat that, like I eat fast food very rarely.
Yeah, you try to make it a treat. Yeah,
right. If you eat fast food every day, you're gonna die from all that sodium.
That's why I actually don't mind the nanny state. Characteristics or whatever of the Bloomberg,
like
and
a
de Blasio.
paternalistic government.
Yeah, it's like a good friend of ours, Jeff. He's very much of the if people are stupid enough to eat this, then they deserve to die.
Yeah,
and,
I used to feel like that, a more libertarian kind of thing, but I've kind of grown. I don't think a little bit more nanny
I'm not sure
state.
people realize like even those salt shakers. It's kind of this abstract concept. Like it really is. You're eating poison. So like, and
but it tastes so good, Jack.
And I hate to sound like condescending liberal because I love my McDonald's and my Wendy's, but you can't eat it every day.
No.
How do you do that? How do you feed your kids that shit?
But if people don't eat it every day, they will eventually they'd close up. McDonald's will go out of business if people weren't eating it every day.
They can't go out of business. I need their hash browns for breakfast.
I had their hash browns this morning for
breakfast.
breakfast.
Can't they just be happier with smaller profits? These robber barons.
These robber barons, baby. I like that. That's become your new thing. Robber barons.
Well, for this episode.
Hopefully it'll come back. But Lunchables, I don't know. Did I really miss out on that much?
Yes,
like I've had cheese.
You really did.
I've had cheese and crackers, and I've eaten salami. Come on,
it's the extra sodium. Sodium makes
the extra sodium makes it better.
No, it really does. You ever have like those Purdue already cooked chicken breasts?
Yeah,
those things are like crack, and it's because they literally take like a needle and just inject salt into the meat.
Yeah,
it's delicious.
Delicious. I agree.
No, it's saltier than cheese and crackers, and that's why it's so delicious. It's like crack Lunchables. It tastes. It enters your mouth and your taste. It does. It's like that cynical robber baron thing that they do, where they're trying to like affect your taste buds in a way that will make you want to buy it.
Right, they're manipulating you into
cynical,
liking the food.
But they're delicious. We're gonna
Food
do a
science
live. We're gonna do a
thing.
live Lunchables, and we're gonna eat it. It's gonna be the opposite of our bologna sandwich episode, where instead of gagging, I will be gagging with delight.
All right.
Like those porn stars do.
Gagging with delight, like those porn stars do, says Jack, robber baron Spicone.
Why am I a robber baron?
Because you're gonna make money off me eating Lunchables?
Well, we split it 50-50.
Oh, all right. We got like almost 2 minutes left on the show here.
2.5.
Should we do a lightning round topic, or
Let's
what do you
do
want
it.
to think? Okay, so thanks for that one, Carr. We got another topic for you. It is from Steve Schrader. It is Y2K. Can we cram in Y2K in 2 minutes, Jack?
No, but let's just cram in the Y2K made for TV movie in 2 minutes.
Can I do a quick Y2K story? So I have obviously a lot of digital photos these days.
You were very narcissistic. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. The very first photo that I have in my digital photo album, like my Google photo stream, is a photo of me on December 31st, 1999. It's me in my basement by myself, which is where I spent the Y2K. My parents were having a party upstairs, and I was high school sulky me in the basement. I have the most horrible hairstyle of just like parted down the middle, like weird. I don't know what I was doing, but I remember sitting in my basement. I don't know who took this picture or why I have it.
You couldn't have been alone.
But I have that picture, and I just remember sitting there in Y2K wondering, is this how I'm going to die in this basement alone?
I periodically, I spent New Year's home with my mother and my sister. I periodically would go to my bedroom where we lived on the top of a hill in Staten Island, and my house faced the water.
Someone's asking, Niall is asking us to tweet that picture out. I will
Do
tweet
it, but only
that
on
out.
a Patreon exclusive.
Okay, done. You got to sign up for Patreon. Good, because I don't want that picture
No, so
out there.
I was looking out the window periodically towards Manhattan.
Yeah.
Because I had a feeling that not like Y2K would happen, but that there would be a terrorist attack, and this was before 9/11.
Yeah.
I even wrote a story. I don't know if you remember in our high school literary magazine about this very idea.
Yeah.
But I had a theory that terrorists were going to set off a nuke in Times Square on Y2K.
Yeah, I mean, people were very nervous
So
about
I
Y2K.
kept periodically checking Manhattan from my window to see if the city had blown up yet, and I had this fear and this dread. Same with you. I was kind of scared. And then I remembered going and chatting with you in Palace, in the South Park Palace.
Right,
that
that's
night.
the thing we did.
But my first digital photo, I got this Olympus camera that could hold 18 photos before you had to put in a new card.
Yeah.
Was taken Christmas morning, December 25th, probably the same year.
Yeah.
Actually, I think it was freshman year of college. And it's my mother without makeup on the couch looking horrified that I was taking a picture of her.
I'm going to show you the picture right now, Jack, because I have it right here. Because it's in my Google Photos.
And I do have a bunch of photos from second semester freshman year from
Look at that
digital camera.
Look at that cool dude.
Well, that's not a bad hairstyle.
No,
it's
that's
better than
pretty
you
bad.
have now.
What are you talking? I just woke up like this. It's so funny.
Look at you, you're a little baby.
I'm a little
dad.
baby-faced man.
Show the people.
No, we're gonna tweet. It's a Periscope exclusive, or it's a Patreon exclusive.
Show them. They're nice enough to be here. It's a Patreon exclusive, or the 7 people who were nice enough to watch our
But
video.
then we're gonna put this up later.
But if they have to go and look for it.
Nope, you gotta go on Patreon because that is it. We are out of time.
I'll describe it for you. Dan looked terrible, but better than he does now.
I've fallen apart as I get older. You know, Y2K.
He didn't have this shaggy
I'm trying to grow something.
Scooby-Doo shaggy thing going on here. It's also coming in very red.
Very red, yeah.
Very Irish.
I know.
You look like Tormund from Game of Thrones.
That's what I'm going for. All right, so that's going to do it for this episode of 90s Percentile. But before we get out of here, Jack, what have you learned today?
I learned that you've never had Lunchables, and we almost had a fan revolt here at We Studios.
The fans are revolting. What did I learn? I learned that there was a Waterworld game for Virtual Boy. I did not own that one, and I'm very surprised.
Also, that's a very weird...
It seemed like it was the only licensed title for the console.
And out of all licensed titles, to do something that has no red in it, like the movie Waterworld
really?
has no red. Like, why wouldn't they do
very strange,
like Ridley Scott's Legend, something that was that could use the red to its advantage?
Ridley Scott's Legend. Oh yeah, I guess that
it
would
takes
make
place
sense.
in hell.
Yeah.
Something that uses the red to its advantage. I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea, but that's why it went out.
That's why I should have
sucked.
been the robber baron in charge of Nintendo. The new mascot, Jim Tendo, would have outsold Mario by millions.
Jim Tendo, we look forward to
I am
him
a
being
business
a
genius.
new. Yeah, you're a business genius, Jack.
I did turn down a scholarship to Wharton, which I regret many
In retrospect,
times.
Probably a bad decision. But that's going to do it with this episode. If you want to get more episodes of this show or our Simpsons podcast, worst episode ever, you go to weepodcast.com, weepodcast.com. And while you're there, you support us by clicking on our Amazon links. That shop like you normally would, helps keep the show free. We get a small cut. Or you can just go to amazon.wepodcast.com. Either way, take you to the same place. And while you're there, you can go to our Patreon. You want to see that picture of me?
See a picture of cute little Danny.
Of cute little Danny. I was
Little
only,
Danny.
what was I? I would have been 14
He
at
didn't
that
have
point.
any of that red scruff on his pubic area yet.
Well, okay. Well, that was true. I did actually. It was. I
14?
sprouted very young age.
You grew from the pubes out.
That's right.
It
Absolutely.
radiated from your pelvic area.
When I was born, I was just a pube, and I've just blossomed into what I am now.
You're a pube that grew human.
Yeah, that's right. You can't tell?
I feel like that should be the next Pixar movie. Like an anthropomorphic pube.
Yeah, I
that
think-
just wants to be a real boy.
Free idea if anyone wants
Pubocchio.
it. Pubocchio. Oh my god.
Puberty?
If you want more,
would be the Geppetto?
if you want exclusive stuff that you can't get anywhere else, our Patreon is the only place to do it. Patreon.com/WeStudios.
Also, if you donate even at our lowest tier, we will thank you on the next available episode of the show. I know, Fisher Michaels. I didn't want to overthink saying anthropomorphic.
Yes, you almost had it.
But I figured it was better for me to just go for it and not
Yeah.
not jump all over it.
So Amazon, our Patreon, those are ways you can support us if you want to give us some money.
Get your Mother's Day gifts on Amazon through amazon.wepickus.com.
Absolutely. But if you don't want to give us any money, but you still want to support the show, you like what we're doing, all you got to do is go to iTunes and give us a 5-star review on iTunes. That helps the show out a lot, gets us new listeners, all that fun stuff. And if you do that, you might get it read on the show, like a future guest might do, or I might do right now. Should I read one? We do have one. It's a very quick one.
Should we play, is it a real review, or is it Dan Mulhall made the review?
I'm not going to...
Cue the Paul Schaefer keyboard music. All right, read it, and see if it's a real or fake one.
All right. This comes from DiCaprio's Lover. It is called, Hey, It's Two Podcasts. Bayridge Bob thinks this podcast is the bomb.
I think that's a made-up review that you just made up.
That's a real review. So thank you, DiCaprio's lover.
Why did you use all worst episode ever jokes on our 90s percentile review?
I believe he also used a very similar thing on worst episode ever.
Well, that's
so
awesome. Thank you so much. I like those cross podcast reviews because it
absolutely,
because other people are going to be like, "What is he talking about?"
What's
I need
Bayridge
to check
Bob?
out this other show.
Yeah, listen
which
to both
also,
shows.
if you don't want to, if you already wrote an iTunes review or whatever, that's another great way to spread the word. If you see articles about The Simpsons or about 90s online and blogs and shit, post a link in the comments. Be like, "Hey guys, check out this podcast." Like, I know our listeners,
tell your friends.
I know you like to be the cool guys who are in the know, and you don't want us to, become too big and sell out. And then,
but we really want to sell out, guys.
I was into them before they were cool.
We want to sell out so bad.
Yeah.
Like, you have no idea.
I want you guys to be able to say you were into us before we were cool. I would love for that to happen. So yeah, link us in any you see articles about the stupid Simpsons Trump thing. Throw in a link there.
Or people are just talking about S-Town. Just be like, hey, I got a podcast that's better than S-Town. It's called 90s Percentile.
Any of these 90s reboots pop up. There's always fucking 90s shit in BuzzFeed and stuff.
Yeah.
Give us a shout out. Spread the word. Tell a friend.
Absolutely. But that's going to do it for this episode, Jack. You can follow us on Twitter. I guess we didn't say that. I'm at Dan Says.
I'm at Jackie No Breaks. That's also my Instagram. And I created a Twitch account last night that I may or may not use. I might just end up using our We Studios Twitch.
Sure.
For everything. Come play games with me.
Come play games with us.
Come play Quiplash with me. Enjoy my hockey team. I need a defenseman.
There you go. But that's going to do it for this episode of 90 Percentile. Thank you to everyone on the Periscope. My name is Dan.
My name is Jack, and you're doing it backwards.
No.
I started the show.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. I started the show. Every time, Dan.
My name is Dan.
No. I'm a robber baron, and my name is Jack.
And my name is also Jack.
Oh, Jesus
My name is
Christ.
Dan, and we'll see you in another decade.